These days, Steven Tyler, Aerosmith's charismatic lead singer, is high on life with all its absurdities. Aerosmith, currently touring with the campy shock rock band Kiss, is selling out concerts coast to coast. Adoring fans shower Tyler with hugs, gifts, even pledges by expectant mothers to name their babies after him.
If it's a boy, it's Tyler. After
it's a girl, it's quite a life. I'm very grateful. This morning I was feeding the chickens thinking about, you know, the opposites. You know, here I am feeding the chickens, and backstage is girls exposing their breasts and Gene Simmons with blood dripping. My children running around as if nothing's going on at all. And but it's beautiful. Some girl out there is going to name her child Tyler, and
that makes you happy, you know.
It's sweet.
Sweet, too, that on their recent visit to New Hampshire, the state declared November 24th Aerosmith Day, noting the band has now sold more than 100 million albums.
Thank you.
But wealth and fame are not the achievements that most gratify Steven Tyler. It's having overcome a drug addiction that nearly destroyed him and Aerosmith. Where would you be if you hadn't gotten sober?
Well, you know, they say you've got three things that can happen: death, jail, or insanity. And we were all surely headed for there. It got so bad that when I think about what I was doing in the last days of my addictions, I'm embarrassed completely. I'd be in a bathroom with who knows who doing, snorting who knows what and drinking whatever, and then coming out on stage and falling down, and like, you know, drug addicts dabbling in music instead of musicians dabbling with drugs like we did in the beginning.
During the early 80s, all 5 members of Aerosmith battled substance abuse problems. Tyler did it all, sampling everything from pills to cocaine to heroin. He's convinced without the intervention of friends, he would not be alive today.
I remember being in a place, 126 pounds, yap, 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 me, ay. And this wonderful man named Bob Hearn, who's my sponsor to this day, said, "Shut up. Take the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth. And remember, this is a locked ward, and your best thinking got you in here, Steven." So I came to the realization that maybe I do have a problem.
Today, the entire band could be poster children for sobriety. Tyler himself has been clean and sober for 17 years.
And when you turn it around, and you've given that much energy to getting the drugs, to keeping it a secret, if you can turn it around, you have to open your shirt to catch all the gifts. It's insane. So much comes to you when you turn it around.
In gratitude for the help he received, Tyler now counsels other musicians with substance abuse problems. Tyler, Aerosmith drummer Joey Kramer, and their wives also actively support Victory programs, the Boston-based treatment center for substance abuse. They quietly donate their time and money. Lots of it.
People like Jonathan Scott, you know, have afforded this beautiful place in Boston, and it's one of the sweetest, most wonderful. And if you ever met Jonathan Scott, I mean, he just is like Gandhi. To give it away so much and to have that for people to fall back on when they're falling is nothing short of godly.
Tyler and Joey Kramer agreed to be part of this story because they are shocked by recent state and federal budget cuts for addiction services. This past year, Victory Programs has lost more than $800,000 in public funding.
They're cutting back on the rehabilitation centers, but, you know, we're not cutting back on drug addicts, and we're not cutting back on alcoholics. And there are still just as many people out there drinking and drugging without any place to go when they want to get better, when they want to help themselves. I know for myself, 16 years ago when I got sober, without the help of a rehabilitation center, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
You couldn't have done it on your own?
I really don't think so.
Steven Tyler says he longs for the day when the stigma of addiction is shattered, when society acknowledges in public what is so often whispered about in private. No family is immune from the threat of drugs and alcohol.
Everybody's touched by it. In our society, it's the elephant in the living room. If grandma or grandma's got a problem, we keep it quiet because, after all, it is grandma and grandpa. Shh, don't rock the boat. This is a strong family we have here. No, Grandma's taking 30 pills a day, not unlike some people that just got in trouble in the press, which I can't mention their names. But when you get to that place, it shouldn't be about the elephant in the living room. It should be about recovery.
We mentioned that Steven Tyler, Joey Kramer, and their wives are deeply committed to Victory programs. In fact, Joey's wife, April, works tirelessly on behalf of the program, serving on the board of directors and chairing the annual celebration honoring recent graduates. And no matter where Aerosmith happens to be touring, Steven Tyler and Joey Kramer always seem to make their way back to Boston to attend that event. Still to come, the city of Boston's drug czar and her